wild-ass dreams and couldn't catch anything. It sounded totally perfect. We were pushing and pulling. We should have lied no minutes. It's kinda cathartic when you get broken hearted. It's kinda cathartic when you get broken hearted. Squeezed so hard, it took the love out of everything. And we weathered that storm before, but not anymore, not anymore. It ended really quite gruesome, honey. We were kicking and scratching, should have let go then. It's kinda cathartic when you get broken hearted. Kinda cathartic when you get broken hearted. It's 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 kinda cathartic when you get broken hearted.
Cool. We'll welcome you back over to the microphone where we can have a bit more chat. Yes, you're here until Sunday. Sunday, I think you mentioned, right? Is when you're going to be...
Monday morning, I sadly have to leave. But
Monday morning.
I'm already planning my next mission back.
I was going to say, yeah. How far in advance do you plan stuff? Because you talked about, you know, you never really know where you're going to go next, but do you try to make, well, okay, in 2 months I want to be down in Malaysia for a show? I mean, how far in advance do you try and book stuff?
Yeah, at this point, it's just as much as more in advance as possible. Like we've seen a bit of Asia now, and like we actually have some contacts rather than just like going around blindly, you know, like the first time. So it feels more comforting to have a bit more of a home now and a network of friends and fans and stuff.
But now that it's starting to feel like a home, and you've got the network of friends, is it actually starting to feel like home where you're from? That made you want to get out in the first place, if you know what I mean.
It's still super fresh over here. I've only been here about 6 months in total, so yeah, I'm totally keen to sticking around a bit.
No definitive plans on how long you'll stay in this part of the world?
No definitive plans, which feels kind of nice, I guess.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about.
All right,
yeah,
cool.
I do know exactly what you're talking about. But do you think that you'll ever maybe, I don't know, do the Beatles India thing and try and gain an inspiration there, or maybe South America and look for an inspiration there? I guess what I'm asking is this something that you want to make a career out of, kind of establishing yourself in other parts of the world just so that you can make music in other parts of the world and see the whole planet while you're here, if you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's a good way to combine music and traveling, so it just kind of came together naturally. I do feel like there's a certain like going to places that aren't necessarily cliche, like I started a band, I think we're really good, we're gonna move to New York, or we're gonna move to LA, and like if you're a prodigy, and by all means like do it. It's just that there's so much clutter and it's so easy to get swallowed up there, and working as a server 60 hours a week to fuel your band is just kind of a drain on your whole life cycle. So here there's more places where there's some space, like people are, they're antsy for some new music, and I think the same is going on in kind of South Africa along the coast, and there's little nooks and crannies, I think, for music in the world.
Is that to say then that in America the interest in new creative music is not so much because the other side of the record industry, the business side of the industry, has taken over and has kind of sucked the soul away from the artists?
I think in a sense that I don't know, the artist has the upper hand in a sense that they can get their tunes out there and do it themselves. Like, I'm a huge advocate of DIY. It's just it's tough to the amount you have to work to pursue original music and pursue a band. It's very tough to do it in the States on a full-time basis, just because A, there's so many awesome bands, like band after band, and then B, it's just a much more expensive place to live. So,
but is new music actively pursued by, in your opinion, by the American music consumer? I mean, if you look at the top 40, I guess I'm trying to get your perspective on the state of the music industry these days. If you look at the top 40 and you see, Rihanna, and you see all these remixes, and you see what dominate Pitbull, what's in the top 10, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not sure about your opinion, but in my opinion, that's not necessarily new original music, which made me ask the question, is that something that's not being pursued anymore?
I think it's... But being pursued by the listener or the artist?
The listener.
The listener. I think that stuff. Those listeners that want to find it will go. I mean, they're not going to go pull up a Rihanna record, but those who want to find it are going to go find it and go out of their way to get it. It's just a matter of like there's being so much clutter. And
that's the second time you've used that term today. What do you mean when you say clutter?
Clutter in a sense that a large amount of like really tremendous bands.
Congestion.
Congestion. Just working their asses off, and there's very little money in indie rock music. You have to be at kind of the pinnacle and catch a few breaks to be able to do it full time.
So is that to say that you have to be in the right place at the right time, or you have to be almost a prodigy, as you said?
For the most of us, I think it's being at the right place at the right time. Trends and status and timing and what guys kind of come into your life at that given time. And
the album now is called In Between Exits. Have you started work on your next album yet? Is it a solo? If so, is it a solo project or is it with the band?
Oh, we have a band. We have a band now, and we're just kind of kicking it up. And it's called Brett Newski and the Corruption, with some good chaps from London and Canada. But yeah, we're working on a full band record, and we're pretty jazzed about the way that's going.
Very cool. Well, if you ever find your way back to Korea, then make sure you come back and say hello on the program. We'd love to see you again.
Definitely. We want to bring the band with.
Playing tonight at Club Freebird in Hongdae at 9:30 p.m. If you check out our homepage, then you can find the information on that. Brett Newski, thanks very much for coming in for the talk.
Thank you, Steve.
And the music.
Thank you, everybody.
Enjoy the rest of your stay here in Korea. Now we're going to go to a track of Brett Newski and the Corruption. Enjoy it. Sleeping with Ghosts.